Bonjour, c'est un grand honneur d'être invité à participer à cette conférence si importante. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this very important conference in this very important and tricky point in time. We are discussing about energy, about climate, about the prosperity, safety and equity in the humankind, how we can ensure that we all have access to modern sources of energy in a way that do not deplete the resources of the planet. This is a very important moment for everybody, but in particular for Europe. We are thinking how we can change our energy system, how we can draw lessons from what we have been learning all along decades, and very much in particular during the last year with the invasion of Ukraine and the impacts in the energy security and the economy. In a context where we have to respond to the main question mark, where are we concerning the fulfillment of the Paris Agreement targets dealing with climate? The response is not very good. We have much to do. And this is very precisely what we want to push forward during the presidency of the Council of the European Union by Spain. We think that we have learned a lot. We think that there are many things that we can apply from the time being. And we know that the Fit for 55 package needs to arrive to the final solution, to the final deal, so to ensure that we, working together, are able to respond to the climate and energy crisis. This is a very important point that I would like to underline. I am convinced that it is much better to do it together, to build on our common infrastructures, on our complementarities, to build much more Europe according to the main drives, the main lines in the energy and climate policies, a real energy and climate European policy. The energy transition is not anything new. We knew that we had to push for a very deep transformation of our energy systems, but now it becomes absolutely urgent to do so. The fact that Russia invaded Ukraine did create this tension alongside the elements, the question marks on how we could ensure the supply of our needs, taking into consideration the high dependence from abroad. This is very interesting because, in fact, we count on the local capacities, on the local resources, and the local innovation improvements that could provide a large share of the response that we need in terms of energy. So we know that we need to diversify our suppliers. We need to invest in much more renewable energy solutions to combine local and global needs in a way that provides profits for the local communities, taking into consideration the need to ensure to save our natural resources, our ecosystems, but also the local communities, the local societies, to invest in further innovation, in further performance of the renewable energy solutions. We need to strengthen our complementarities to be sure that we can connect our infrastructures. We need to provide solutions that could be applied whenever any disruptive event comes back again in our system, so that we have the flexibility to count on different sources, so that we count on the flexibility on count on different solutions. At the same time, we are convinced that the energy savings, the energy efficiency, being intelligent, being smart when using energy is the very first recommendation for anyone in the European continent and elsewhere in the world. This is something that challenges the public opinion. What does this mean? This very intense and sophisticated change in such a short period of time. And this is normal, and we need to bear that. We need to understand that we need to provide a platform to shape consensus, to reach agreement among the local communities, among the investors, among the public institutions being in charge of promoting this energy transition. This is not an easy task, taking into consideration knowledge, social concerns, but also environmental and energy needs. This is why being sure that people can take place in this participative process and being aware of the need to get the local communities the benefits that the new investments may provide in the neighborhood is very important. What have we done in Spain? We worked since the very first moment so to ensure that we could work on an energy and climate framework that could provide the basis for this decision, for this discussion, for this understanding on how to perform in the time to come. There were technological goals, but there were also reflections on how we could combine the different capacities in the different regions. And this was open to the public contestation, to the public discussion. And this was the basis for what we did since the very first moment. And there are many things to be combined. Some of them need an agreement at the European level, because we know that the needs have changed. We need to invest in renewable energy solutions, in the very proof grid systems that ensure that we can transport electricity whenever, wherever, and in a very secure manner. We need to ensure that we can count on storage solutions, and the storage business case needs to be built around the regulation. We know that digitalization of the grid and security could be very important. We know that now it is not anymore 5, 6, 7, 10, 100 plants. It is many thousands of small producers of energy that do count in the system, and the grid needs to provide a safe system so to ensure that going backs and forwards do work in the electricity system. We need to electrify final uses to the extent possible. We need to work together at the European level so that we can keep on the investment, so to develop new solutions, to get rid of gas to the extent possible and as soon as possible whenever we use green hydrogen, to get used to facilitate access to other sources of renewable gases, so to ensure that we can get into these circular economy solutions, but also to facilitate the phase out of natural gas. To ensure that mobility is electrified as soon as possible in a way that it is affordable for the consumers. To be sure that consumers, citizens, should be at the core of our decisions, so that the just transition takes place not only for workers, but also for consumers. They can access to the benefits of this transformation as soon as possible. De-risking the investment decisions, ensuring a stable and predictable marketplace, facilitating the technology investments, ensuring that the academia do work not only at the technical level, but also in social science, so to facilitate this transformation that to a certain extent is a very relevant, important cultural mindset change. Doing this together is the best way to get a success. Doing this in a fragmented manner is a certain risk to get a success.